my reason for being in healthcare is like to make a positive impact on young people because they're our future. They're our future citizens, our future leaders. And
Yep.
so like I feel like if I can make just a small change, in a few people, maybe I can help others with their experience with those people of lives that I've touched.
Oh no.
Yup.
I don't get it. It's okay. We get
And I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Ooh, we going in it. Now let's get it.
it.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them. And he's one of my favorite men to ever emphasize.
that entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
So my guest of honor exemplifies the quote, get you a woman that can do both. She's an educator, an entrepreneur, makeup artist, and Etsy Bow boutique owner. Some of her accomplishments include being the first to graduate from a four-year university in her family and earning her master's degree in healthcare administration by the age of 24. She's a natural at doing queen things, and she is my guest of honor today. Her name is Yonna Jones. How you doing?
Doing great.
how has how has quarantining been going for you?
Oh my gosh. Quarantine has been, at first it was like, okay, this is cute. I'm in the house. I could go to the park and then it's like, okay, I'm bored now. I need everything to go back to normal. So it's like, what can I do to keep my sanity? So my place of peace is the hot bubble bath or like a hot bath. And I'm in there, the music low and some wine. And that's my time to recharge.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like we've all learned something from 2020, and it's like, what would you say is your one takeaway from 2020?
To not take people for granted. So family in specific.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's real easy
Hmm.
to do that to the people that's closest to you.
Hmm.
It's so easy to do that, man. I always wanted to ask you, like, what's your background like? Where you from? We gotta let them. I know where you from, but let them know where you from and how your background has impacted you moving forward.
Well, I'm from Waco, Texas, specifically East Waco, Texas. If you're familiar with Waco, then you know. Um, I was like brought up in a single parent home. Growing up, my dad was not in my life. And so I saw my mom, struggle. My mom had me was like a few months shy of 20.
Mhm.
So she says that we grew up together. So like, when I was growing up, my mom was like in her 20s.
Mhm.
And when I graduated, my mom was like 38, 37, 38. So I just like saw her struggles and like what she had to go through. And she always pushed me to do better. So like that was like my push. That's like my motivation. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna do better for myself so that my kids can do better and I can push them to be better than me.
Yeah. Look, you had the fun mom. I'm sure a lot of people was like trying to holler at your mama at 2.
Listen, my mom was young, but she did not play. She
Right.
was the strictest parent out of all my friends. I had the strictest mom. They thought like, oh, she'll be cool. No, she's not. She was not.
She was not.
Yeah, she was not. I told her, I was like, I remember growing up and be like, okay, I feel like I'm in a prison. So like I was raised in like a very strict, like Christian household.
Yeah. Look, but it helped you though.
Yeah.
If you see like flashes of how your mom was with you, do you do that with your kids?
Oh man. I hate to admit it, but yes, like yes, I do. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm becoming my mom.
Hmm.
But yeah, I do see it. And then like it was crazy because right, like my freshman year in college, I was like telling my mom, like as I experienced things, like, you know what, I'm sorry. I
Hmm.
understand why you didn't let me do XYZ. I understand why you didn't let me go to XYZ. So yeah.
It hit different when you understand for yourself.
Right.
It definitely is different. Well, since you're talking about college, tell me a little bit about what made you want to go to school since you were the first. Like, tell me a little bit about that
Mm.
transition.
Well, I always was fascinated with the healthcare world because I had a grandmother that was always sick. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to be like a doctor starting off, and then it was like, okay, well, it's a long time to go to school, so let me do nursing. And so I was like, you know what? I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do nursing. And so that was my reason to go to college
Okay.
and to get there. And so I started off being a nursing major at UTA.
Ooh, and that's a whole thing in itself right there. Being a nursing
Yeah.
major at UTA, that boy, I remember seeing people like who were nursing majors, they were just like, look, I ain't gonna be able to make it. I'm just gonna have to go ahead and swivel and do something else.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had my freshman year, I had a professor. She taught cellular molecular biology. She told us that she did not care about being a professor. She was not there to teach, that she wanted to just do lab work and experiments and research. And we was like, okay, I should have left then. I made a C in her class, but I busted my behind for that. See, I never made a C until then.
Mm,
And I busted my butt for that C because I made a 38 on her first test.
wow.
And
Yeah.
that was with the curve.
Well, then
With
what
the
did
curve.
everybody else make?
They failed. Half of our class dropped after that exam. And then after the second exam, half of that left. So it was like about a fourth or less left at the end.
Lord Jesus. Yeah. She wasn't there to teach at all. You're right.
Yeah, she was not. I remember crying to my mom, like, they said if I can't pass this class, I can't be a nursing major. But came back in A&P, anatomy and physiology, was harder than cellular and
Hmm.
molecular biology. Passed both of those, but I guess because my professor cared.
Yeah. That makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. Do you was undergrad harder for you than your master's degree?
No,
No.
no. Like, the hardest thing about undergrad was that I had to learn how to study. Like in high school, it came so easy for me
Mhm.
that like I would finish my work at school. So when I
Mhm.
got home, I didn't have any homework. So like it was easy for me. So then when I didn't really have to study. Like my mom would be like, "Do you have homework?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did it at school." She's like, "Okay, we're gonna see when your report card come." And she saw that I was really working. So like when I got to college, I couldn't like how I survived in high school was like, okay, this is not gonna work. This is not
Mm-mm.
gonna work. So like I had to learn like I guess all over again how to
Mhm.
study, but for college. So that was my biggest hurdle
Yeah. I
freshman year.
We all had to learn how to study because especially if you were good in high school, you definitely had to relearn some unlearn some things and
Yeah.
implement new things. Um let me ask you about your career field. Like, so your undergrad degree was what was your undergrad degree in again?
Girl, I switched. I became a criminal justice major
Okay.
and then went to healthcare administration.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember what your undergrad was in. I'm like, we all switched.
Yeah. Yeah, so like with nursing school, that didn't work out. And so my junior year, second semester of my junior year, I changed my major and I was like, I'm graduating. So it was full courses, like full load
Yeah.
until I made sure I graduated in this year I was supposed to graduate.
Hmm.
But I still made it into healthcare administration. So that was like most important.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're using your degrees now?
I am not using my degrees. I worked in healthcare and I felt like I really wasn't helping as much as I thought I would.
Hmm.
And so I did a career change and I switched to education.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my gosh, that's something totally different. It is. But they're like, okay, so do you feel like your graduate degree was a waste of time? And I'm like, no. And
Right.
they're like, really? And they're like, why? I was like, well, when I had my master's degree. And so me having my master's degree allowed me to get my principal certification. So I didn't have to go and get another master's degree. I just had to take a few classes, like 18 hours, and then
Hmm.
I'm fully certified to be a principal versus me
Yeah.
having to go back to school. So like that, it helped me. I don't feel like it was a waste of time.
Was education something that you thought about doing previously though? Is it something that you
Yeah.
like your plan B?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
education was like a plan B, and I had thought about it, and I was like, because I remember when I was thinking when I didn't get into nursing school, I was like, you know what, I'm thinking of like doing education, like switching, and people were like, there's no money in that, there's no
Yeah.
money in education, and so it's like, okay, that's like healthcare pays more. So I just went ahead and went forward with healthcare. So yeah, that was one of my backup plans was education.
I mean, a lot of people talk about the pay, but it's like most people make money, but they're not happy. Like they're not passionate about what they're doing. So like,
Hmm.
would you say that working with those kids is like something that you're extremely passionate about or that you've grown to really love?
Like my reason for being in healthcare is like to make a positive impact on young people because they're our future. They're our future citizens, our future leaders. And so
Yep.
like I feel like if I can make just a small change, in a few people, maybe I can help others with their experience with those people of lives that I've touched. So I do. I love it. Like just to even like I started off working with younger kids, elementary level. Now I'm in middle school. So
Yeah.
it's different, but like you still can have that impact on those kids and like make a difference in their lives, whether you know it or not. Like they may not have liked me at the beginning of the semester, the
Right.
beginning of the year. But then at the end of the year, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss you. Like you were the best. So
Middle school is the middle school age is just an interesting age.
yeah,
Because they're all trying to like transition and like figure out who they are. So it's like interesting to see how they act. But I love middle schoolers.
yeah,
They have
yeah.
something else. Something else.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
like, they love praise just as much as the small kids do, except but you gotta do it on the low.
you do. They be
Yeah.
like, I'm good, I'm being good with her, I got it like that. No, you don't. Don't tell them that. Do not tell
Yeah.
them that. That's some damn mess. But yes, so with you making so many transitions, I'm sure you had moments where you had to like grow out of relationships with friends or like find new friends that feed into you at this age. So tell me, what are your five non-negotiables when it comes to the people around you?
Okay. My five non-negotiables is that I need you to be a believer in God. I need you to be able to pray for me. I
Hmm.
need you to be confident in yourself. I need you to not be in competition with me.
Yes.
And I need you to be able to communicate. Those are my five non-negotiables. Like I need you to have all five. And everything else we can agree to disagree or work through
Yeah.
it.
For real though. Like, please don't be in competition with your friends.
Yeah, because I'm like, if you're in competition with me, we're not friends.
Nah,
I don't
you're
compete with my friends. So yeah.
that's so sad. It's so sad because it's so common. You
Yeah.
know, it's so common and it happens a lot. So it's very sad to see people really lose good friends because they're either envious or jealous of them.
Hmm.
So, but if you have that number one thing you said, you'll be all right
Yeah.
because everything else
Yeah.
will fall into place.
Right. Right.
Everything else will fall into place. Tell me about your businesses.
So my first business that I came up with was with makeup. So it all started out with me wanting to know how to do my brows. Cause
Mhm.
like I don't really have brows. Like I have them, but the hair in them is not full. They're
Yeah,
sparse. So and it was like I said, I moved to Houston after college. So it's like I'm seeing people with their makeup, and I'm like, if I just do
always.
my brows, if I just do my brows, like I'll be fine. And so it started me like wanting to know how to do my brows. And then it was like, okay, well, I wonder, can I do eyeshadow? And then it's like, I think I could do this on other people. And it just went from there. I started my business and I was like mobile. So like I
Hmm.
travel to people and I've been doing it ooh, for about 7 years almost. And
Wow.
traveling to people. I've done people makeup for weddings. I've done brides, bridesmaids, baby showers, just because, birthdays, everything in between.
Wow.
Photo shoots. Yeah.
You do a great job too because even if it's like a full face, it still looks very natural. Like
Thank
all
you.
of the pictures I've seen you do, like they still look like themselves.
Hmm.
So that I feel like that's really important. You don't want nobody out here thinking magician done this, and now
Listen.
she's not who she is anymore. Like who is that?
Yeah. Like I tell people, makeup enhances your beauty. It's not supposed to make you a totally different person. It's just supposed to enhance the beauty that you already have.
Absolutely. Do you feel like you use your business, your makeup business to minister to other people too? Like while you're doing
Sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I can see that.
Sometimes. Because like I'm one of those people, I always like to help people feel confident in themselves. Like if I see that they, you don't have low self-esteem, like I'm that hype woman
Yeah.
in the friends. Like I'm gonna hype you up. Like like if you trying to get some more education, I'm gonna be in your corner cheering you on.
Mhm.
Like I had a friend recently did nursing school, and I was like, girl, we're gonna pray for this about this final, and we're gonna get you through this. So
Yeah.
like I'm that hype woman. So like when I be doing people makeup, sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, help me out with this part of my face or like with this part of my skin. And I always like try to find a way to like boost them up. And then, you get personal stories too.
Yeah.
That get really comfortable sometimes, and you like, you get to talk to them and, give your suggestions or advice or just be a listening ear.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like our passions are our vehicles to, deliver the purpose. So that's
Yeah.
why I had to ask you that. Um,
Yeah.
how do you feel about the makeup industry? Because I feel like Rihanna came in and just like she done mixed it up, and now everybody has 52 colors. But how do you feel about the makeup industry right now and how it's going?
Well, I will say that there is a lot of new products coming out. A lot of them are duplicates and some of them are different.
Hmm.
Um, I still think that in some of them, they could still have like a larger variety, like when it comes to women of color,
Hmm.
like in with our undertones, because we're not just brown, and
Right.
we're all not just like have a red undertone. Some of us have like a blue undertone. Me myself, I have a hard time finding my foundation, believe it or not, my
Wow.
match, because like I'm like in between. I don't have a red undertone. I'm more of a yellow, but it's kind of like a yellowy orange. It's weird. But so like I know that like it's not just me, it's other people that like I have a hard time finding it. So like for them to have a more variety of like for black women, like to be respectful of like these undertones, because some of them, they how you looking green if you're a woman of woman of
Yeah,
color. So
look
like you gotta
ghostly.
be careful. Yeah, either green, are you looking real red, are you looking orange? It's yeah.
Yeah, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. Tell me how you got into making bows.
So I have a daughter and who's 2, and
Wow.
I
2.
want yeah.
Jeez.
You're starting to talk. Yeah, she was my inspiration for bows. Like when she was about 4 months, she had to wear the little baby helmets that you probably seen kids wear, and we had to shave her hair. Like that broke my
Oh,
heart because her hair was like it was curly, it was full, and then to hear someone say that in order to correct the shape of your child's head, that's a girl, you have to shave her head. Like,
wow.
what? So like we had to do that twice because she had to have 2 of those bands. So like when she finally got out of those bands, I'm like, yes, here come the bows. So like that was my inspiration with like shambos, like creating the bows. Like, okay, sometimes you look and there's not bows that you may colors that you may need, like, okay, dang, they're just basic colors, like, a 16 color crayon box, you may need them to be together. So I created, it was like me started with me wanting to customize a bow for a specific outfit for Christmas, and then it went from
Okay.
there.
Look, now you have a whole business.
Yeah.
So I feel like bows and bowrettes are like they are like our life because when we were younger, we had about 58 of them in our hair, twisted
Yes.
up bows. So it's just a part of our culture.
Yes, the
It's just a
knockers.
yep, just a part of our culture. My mom used to be mad because mine used to be gone. Like
Yeah.
by the
And
time
then
I
you get
get
in
home,
trouble.
her just gone, just out of there. So she used to be mad at me. True, but yeah. So what does your mom think about everything that you're doing right now? I'm sure she's extra proud.
She is. She is. She tells me that I don't know how to sit down, but she is very proud of me. Like she'll tell me like sometimes if I like be hard on myself, with like, my expectations of where I was supposed to be.
Mhm.
She'd be like, well, you're still doing good, like I'm very proud of you, like she's like, you gotta look at like, where we came from and like where you are now. Like she's like, I'm very proud, so yeah, she's very uplifting.
That's good. Thank you, mama. Keep doing that for her. Thank you. Uh, okay, so the I see that you talk a lot about like friends and making sure that you have the right people around you. And
Mhm.
so how do you recover when when you've had moments when you had people that weren't as supportive or as, cheerleader-ish for you? How did you
Ooh,
recover from that?
okay. So I'm gonna speak slightly on it and then I'll get into it. Okay, so like I for years had a wall built up that I refused to let anyone through.
Mhm.
Anyone new. And I'm talking about friendships, not romantic, but friendships.
Mhm.
And this situation like hurt, like it cut me deep because it was just like a situation happened and the people who were involved, we all were talking in a room. The truth came out, but this other female that was involved in the situation did not refuse to tell the truth
Mm.
and let my reputation get tarnished, even though she knew the truth.
Mm.
And my friends would not even hear my side of the story. Only one friend like listened to to my side of what happened. So um after that, it was like, okay, no, I don't trust females. I don't do females. I don't do new friends. And this was before Drake, no new friends. Like, so like, and I didn't realize that it was like I would so like socialize with people, but like for you to get close, like that's not happening.
Yeah.
So I built these walls unconsciously. And while I was like no new friends, my friends were making new friends.
Mhm.
And like over time, it's like, dang, they got all these friends, and like you still stuck with the same friends that you had because you're not letting anyone in.
Mhm.
Um, so and it takes you like I had to just like have a moment. I talked to some people about it that made me feel better, and then like just basically like taking it to God, like, okay, I need to get over this because I realized that I was meeting people, great people,
Yeah.
but the friendship didn't grow because I had walls up and I wasn't willing to let them in. And it was like, okay, once they got to a certain point of getting close to me, I would push them away
Yeah.
unintentionally.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta heal for yourself, and move forward. Cause they not realizing it, like I gave them control over my life. Like, okay, I'm not making friends, but they're making friends. So yeah.
Yeah, that forgiveness is definitely for you.
Yes.
Definitely
Like
for
you gotta
you.
let this go, sis.
Gotta let it go so you can flourish and be out here and meet the right people because sometimes, our gifts are supposed to bring us to other people. So
Hmm.
that's definitely good that you let your walls down some and allowing yourself to live fully because you probably blocked out a lot of people that could be your partners.
Yeah.
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 That's good though. I'm glad you said that because yeah, we've all been burned. We've all been
Yeah.
burned by our friendships. So, um,
Yeah.
how do you make sure that you don't dim your light in your friend circles or in at work? Like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people had questions about you as being a Black woman in a leadership
Mhm.
position. So, how do you handle that?
So, in my 20s, I dimmed my light. I shrunk myself and I regret it. Like I had in high school I had so much like drama, but it wasn't even me. It was like just because the person that I dated, it brought so much drama in my life. And I was popular and I was a cheerleader and and I was known for like dressing nice and I had a lot of spotlight at
Mhm.
school. And when I got to college, I was like, I don't want that spotlight. Like, I want to, like, basically let me shrink. I want to be invisible so that I can have peace. And I did have more peace in college, but people still didn't like me. People still made up reasons to not like me. They still found a reason to hate me. They would like the situation happened, something that they might not even believe themselves, but it's just something to take and run with as a reason to like dislike you. So like I say like now, being in my 30s, like I'm gonna be myself unapologetically. And
Yeah,
either you love me or you hate me. And that's okay because I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
right. It's okay. And you know what? I feel like pretty girls get a bad rap sometimes too, because a lot of times it has nothing to do with you. They either jealous or like mad because they don't understand you fully because you haven't let them in. I will say
Hmm.
this in college. This is how I used to explain you. I used to always say, I used to say Sham is one of those people who she keeps her mystique. Like she's not gonna just give you everything, you know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
the experiences that we did have with you were always pleasant. It was always a good vibe for me. So I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
not supposed to like I can't understand what you're saying because I know what she's done for me, type of thing.
Yeah.
So I always just looked at you as one of those people like Lori Harvey, like you keep your mystique, you are who you are, and you let whoever want to see it. So that's how
Hmm.
I looked at you. So
Yeah. 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 That was my hurt time. Yeah. So the walls was really up at the time.
yeah, it's okay though. Look how you are now though.
Yeah.
So you have evolved, you've definitely grown. And I mean, you seem very, very happy. Like that's why I was like, I gotta get Sham on here.
Yeah.
But how do you define success and happiness?
I think that happiness is something that you have to find within yourself. It can't be anything specific to bring you happiness. It can't be like someone else. It has to be within yourself.
Yes,
And I think that comes with like being happy with who you are, um, where you are in your journey. Like yes, we all have goals of like where we want to be, but like being content with like, okay, this is where I am. I've look how far I've come. And so like that's where my joy comes from. And like with my success, like am I done with everything I want to do? No. But I do feel like I've been successful, like coming from where I come from, like being a nursing major, changing my major, like second semester of my junior year, still graduating on time, getting into healthcare and then changing career fields completely as an adult and, having success with that. So like I think that when jumping hurdles and having triumphs, I would say would be like what I consider success. And then
right.
like happiness is something that you would have to have within yourself.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And I feel like, once you figure out how to make yourself happy, it's easier to find joy because
Yeah.
you know how it feel, you know the essence of how it feels. So now you're in
Yeah.
search of that. So no one can take that away from you.
Right.
No one can take that away from you. So what is next for you? Like what do you think is next for you?
So I'm working on something. I have a business that is pending. I just need to get everything trademarked before I tell people about it. But it's in the works.
Good. Look, I love it. I would love that people have multiple businesses and that you definitely have all of your gifts working versus just being one that I'm gonna be an educator and that's gonna be it. Like
Yeah.
us millennials, we not like that. We need multiple things.
Right.
We all multitaskers over here. Definitely multitasking.
Look, I want multiple sources of income over here.
That's
Okay.
the only way you can make it.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can make it. Because yeah, in this economy, you have to have multiple streams of income and passive income. That's what I
Right.
want. Give me some
Yeah.
passive income. I don't want to have to do nothing
In my sleep,
in my sleep. I want to
coins
just
are coming in.
rain down on me. Thank you.
Right.
Do you believe that your purpose is a journey or a destination?
I definitely believe that it's a journey. I don't believe it's a destination because life has its ups and its downs, its highs and its lows. And I definitely think it's a journey. I think that it doesn't end until the day that you close your eyes permanently. Um, you know, it's just
Yeah,
a journey. Enjoy it.
absolutely. And what would you say is your Well, you're a principal, so what would you say is your teaching style or like your style as a principal?
Um, well, I'm not principal yet, but I'm looking.
Mhm.
But I would say that like in like the leadership position, like I'm very empathetic.
Mhm.
Um, I'm very empathetic and I am very goals oriented. So, yes, I am here for you. At the same time, we have goals that we need to make. And I would say that that would probably be my approach. And same thing with students as well. Like, yes, I do care about you. Yes, I am empathetic. I would, like I said, I'm a hype woman. So I will hype you up. I will encourage you. Okay. But at the same time, I'm going to hold you accountable and we have a goal to accomplish at the end of the
Right.
day. Mhm.
We got to hold them accountable.
Right.
Got to hold them accountable. And what would you say is your ultimate why?
My ultimate why is to positively impact students, their lives.
Yeah.
Like that's my why. And it's so funny that you said that because this week was like, oh my gosh, this is such a rough week for me. Like I was like, whoo, come on, Jesus, and bring the weekend. But but I had a student who he was doing like he had improved, like I mean, like took strides. And so I was like, hey, I'm so proud of you. This is like through Zoom. I'm doing in class and virtual. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Like you're doing such a great job. And he's like, it's because you're such a great teacher. And I was like, oh my God. like that's my why, like to make that positive impact, with the kids. I had a kid that suffered with depression last year, and this was before COVID. And
Wow.
some days all she needed was a hug, like, oh miss, I'm not feeling well, down today. Can I just get a hug? And sometimes that's all they need.
Yeah. They
And so
definitely
like
need it.
yeah. So that's my why. And it's always good to get that reminder sometimes, like when things are getting rough, you're like, okay, this is my why. This is why I'm here.
Yeah,
So,
you definitely have to know your why because that's the only thing that's going to keep you pushing. Especially
oh
like
yeah.
you had a hard week. Those it's not the last one that you're gonna have. So
Right.
that why is the one thing that will push you to keep going, even when you're ready to quit.
Yeah.
Was there a teacher in your life that you look towards, like that's like your representation that showed you that this was possible?
I had a teacher. So as I said, I'm from East Waco, right? So I went to elementary school that was pretty much like eat or be eaten, right?
Mhm.
And I'm short, and so I couldn't be a wimp, right? I had to be as tough as the girl who was like the tallest girl in the school. So
Right.
um I was not the best student, kindergarten through third grade. And I remember like towards the end of third grade, this teacher grabbed me, this fourth grade teacher, and was like, little girl, you better hope you're not in my class next year because I'm gonna be on you like white on rice. And I was like, oh, oh gosh, I hope I'm not in her class. And I ended up in her class. Like I think she requested me. I
Probably
really think she
did.
requested me. But I ended up in her class and she like was that teacher that turned it around for me.
Yeah.
Like in regards to like behavior wise, like she turned it around. And so like um I would say that like she's my motivation, and like I would say that that's the same type of teacher that I am. Like, yes, you're gonna know that I care, but like I'm gonna hold you accountable and I'm gonna push you to do better. And so like that's my inspiration, and it's so funny because me and her daughter are great friends.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, we end up going to high school and college together.
That's a blessing. So
Yeah.
you get to have her and the daughter.
Yeah.
Well, my last question for you is if you knew then what you know now, would you change anything?
Ooh. um I say yes and I say no because then I don't know what would trickle down from the changes.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I would say I would not to don't ever say what you can't do.
Uh,
Like I did once, I thought about doing engineering, but people told me that calculus was so hard. But just because it was hard for them doesn't mean that it would have been hard for me because I love math. But So that would be like maybe like something that's like my like what if, but like if I did change anything, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. Look, it's
yeah,
okay if you look. I get all of that because most people be like, "No, I wouldn't change anything," but you think about it every now. People think about it.
yeah, you do.
No, but Sham, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad that the kids have somebody like you in their presence because you are like a living representation of what can happen if you like chase your dreams and do whatever you want to do on your own merit. So that's why I asked you to come on because you are one of those people who definitely do their own thing how you want to do it. So um I'm
Thank
glad to
you.
have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.